Hi again, it's Mike here. I'll try and not knock the tripod too much, but it's directly in front of the ESU command station. Now, you've just seen the video, I hope, of the decoder being fitted to the Hornby Class N2. We're now ready to program the decoder to operate on the DCC layout, and how we do that is pretty straightforward with this system. So I'll try and talk you through what I'm doing. Okay, what we're going to do is press the little spanner button and it brings up a menu and it says new loco. Scroll across and it says create manually, or you can create from a database. We're going to do this one manually, so we'll just press manually. Right, what you've got is your DCC protocol, the current address, which is 3, the sniffer address and the name down here, and the loco icon across here. Now, first thing we're going to do is give it a new address, then scroll through the icons to pick the icon that corresponds with the Hornby Class N2, type in the name, and then we will program the decoder on the programming track. Okay, so let's change the address for this new locomotive that's going on to the command station. That then brings up the address, which is set at 3. Let's remove that. This will be number 42 on my layout, so it's 42, and then you press the tick button and that's it set at 42. We'll come down to the name and we'll clear the name out, and we're going to call it N2 space mark, and it's number 4749. 4749, and that's all I'm going to do for now. Right, we'll come across to the icons, and I'm going to user defined icons because I've loaded some British standard image icons onto this system. You can download them from the website and they're all free, so you just open up the icon. Here we go, and hopefully we've got an N2 in here. Okay, so we pick that and the icon's changed, and what we do with this side is it's going into loco list number 1. You can have different lists for different locos and you can split them down into steam or diesel. So mine's going into loco 1 and all my steam locomotives are in loco 1 list, so we just do that. That is now saved and it's ready to go, controlling that particular locomotive. Now all the function buttons come on as standard, and because there is no working functions on this particular model, we can go in and edit the loco and click into the properties and uncheck all the functions. There we go. Now we'll just save those. All the functions have now disappeared because this particular model has none, so there's no point cluttering up the screen with information that you don't really require. Okay, what we're now going to do is program the decoder. So we'll click on the little screen here, and you've got setup 1 with a load of different settings down here that we won't need to touch just yet. We want to be in setting number 2, and we're going to be programming the DCC on the programming track, and it's CV number 1, which is the decoder address. And what we're going to do is down here we're going to put in 42. Now the locomotive's already on the programming track. What I'll do is I'll complete this and then I'll show you the locomotive on the programming track. But basically all you then do is go right. It did its little timer function to show that it's programming, and then it tells you that the chips accepted the address number 42 and its status is OK. What you can do just to confirm what address has gone in is ask it to read, and it's telling you now CV value is 42, which is correct for that particular locomotive. All you need to do now is come out, and the locomotive can now be controlled from this left hand side using the speed dial on this particular model. So let's have a little look at the locomotive. Right, so here we have the Hornby Class N2 on the programming track, and because we've already done the decoder, what we now do is just apply the power and off she goes. We'll stop it, change direction, and we'll bring her forward and stop, and that is as simple as it gets. Okay, I brought you back around to the command station, and it's still got the locomotive on, and this is how we control the speed, just by slowly turning this, and the locomotive sets away into reverse, apply the speed, and the locomotive sets away in reverse. Now the beauty about this command station is you can run multiple locomotives. You can have 5 on this side and 5 on that side, simply by pressing multiple. And then this brings up 5 locomotives that's all being controlled by this right hand controller, and the multiple function, you've got 5 locomotives being controlled on the left hand side, and it's so easy to just switch between them, and you've always got instant control. No having to scroll through your menu system looking for locomotives and running the risk of having near misses. I mean, mine's a pretty small layout, it's only 10 foot square, so when you're running 2 trains on the main 2 loops, you have to be a little bit cautious, as they do tend to run into the back of each other. And then if you want to go back to single view, just highlight the loco, single operation, and you're back to your single locomotive on your left. And let's highlight the 03, and you've got your 03 on the right. or if you want to change that and you want to control the Class 08 and then go back to single, you've got your Class 08. You can even swap over so that the Class 08 is now on your left and the N2 is now on the right, and swap them back. A very, very good system. Now I hope I've explained enough for people to make a choice on what DCC command station they want out there. I had the Dynamis Pro system, great, but I could never quite get used to scrolling through the loco list with the lever. That's why I opted for this system, and I just love it. Now, just to finish this last little review and demonstration, you can alter things for your decoder simply by going in to the edit locomotive function, and in here you've got your basic settings, you've got your properties for all your functions. In this one you can change the speedo on the display from speed steps to actually display speed, and then you can set the maximum speed that you want that locomotive to travel by altering this slider here and pressing the tick, and that's it saved. By going into your advanced settings, it's a little bit awkward doing this. Right, there we go. Right, what you can do whilst the locomotive is on the programming track, you can ask it to read the decoder, and it'll get all the CV settings that are applicable to that decoder and list them in here for easy operation. You can alter the reverse direction, so say you've got your power leads mixed up and the locomotive's running in reverse, simply check that and it'll make the locomotive run in forward when you want it in forward, and when you switch it to reverse it'll go into reverse. You can enable long DCC addressing in this section here. You can turn on and off your analog operation. I've found a couple of my locomotives will not work if you have the DC or analog enabled. You have to take it off to allow the locomotive only to run on DCC, and they run a lot smoother. So only on a few locomotives, but it's something you have to bear in mind. You can ask the decoder to use the speed curve settings, so it just uses what's ever programmed, or if you want to be more adventurous you can go in and set your own minimum speed, maximum speed, how fast you want it to accelerate, how slow you want to decelerate the locomotive, using by the settings. That's because we haven't read the decoder, so there's nothing in here. But what should turn up when you read the decoder is you'd have all your CV settings. So rather than going through them one at a time, it brings them up in here and they're in slider form. So you just move your sliders back and forth to alter your settings. And then once you're done, you just press the tick button and it's all stored. That's the ESU command station in its basic form. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you. Okay, the last little section now. This is the locomotive now on the main line, and what we're going to do is just show it running away from the station round the layout.